Promises Kept. This story is part of the Grandfather Gospel series by the Cardinal and Dove, a collection of gospel reflections told through quiet moments shared between a grandfather, a grandmother, and the children who gather to listen. We're glad you're here. This is the story called Promises Kept. Winter had settled deeper now. The kitchen windows were rimmed with frost, and the morning light came slowly, pale and quiet, as though it didn't want to disturb anyone. The stove hummed low, a kettle steamed. On the counter, a loaf of fresh bread rested beneath a folded cloth, its warmth already filling the room. Bethany moved easily between the stove and the table, the way only a grandmother does, without hurry, without noise, as though the room itself trusted her. She sliced the bread thick, set out butter still cool from the pantry, and placed everything within reach. Maya sat at the table first, her hands folded, watching. She always noticed things before she spoke, as if she wanted to understand the room before choosing her words. Lydia stayed close to the window. Younger than Maya, smaller, rarely still. She traced the frost with one finger, then wiped a small, clear circle in the glass and peered through it, her breath fogging the pane. They were cousins, but mornings like this made them feel like sisters, drawn together not because they were told to be, but because this was where they belonged. Their grandfather, Elias Greyhawk, stood just inside the doorway, watching them before anyone noticed he was there. He always waited. When he stepped fully into the room, the girls looked up at once. They knew that pause. They had learned it from him. "Cold mornings make you hungry," Bethany said gently. "More than you expect." Lydia nodded, already reaching for a slice. "Because you've been waiting all night," she said. Elias smiled. "Yes," he said, "and some kinds of waiting make you hungry in ways food can't fix." Maya tilted her head. "Like when you're waiting for something God promised?" "Yes," Elias said, "like that." Bethany took her seat, spreading butter slowly, listening. "For a long time," Elias continued, resting his hand on the counter, "God's people were waiting. Not for comfort, not for ease, but for a promise spoken long before anyone could see how it would be kept." The room grew still, not silent, but attentive. Elias reached for the Bible on the counter, but didn't open it yet. "Hundreds of years before Jesus was born," he said, "God spoke words meant to carry hope through generations." He opened the book carefully and read, "For to us a child is born, to us a son is given." Lydia stopped chewing and looked up. "That's Jesus," she said, not asking, just knowing. Elias nodded. "Yes," he said, "that was him, promised long before anyone could see his face." "So they were waiting for him," Lydia said. "They were," Bethany replied softly. Elias let the page rest open, then turned it. "And when the time was right," he said, "God kept his word." He read again, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all the people. Today, in the town of David, a Savior has been born to you." Bethany pressed butter into a warm slice of bread. "Bread takes time," she said quietly. "So do promises. But when they're ready, they nourish more than just the moment." Elias smiled. "God doesn't rush what he means to keep." Lydia took a bite and smiled to herself. I like promises that turn into people, she said. Bethany laughed gently. So does God. No one hurried after that. The girls ate. The kettle softened its song. Light shifted across the table, and outside the frost began to thin along the glass. Some promises are spoken once and forgotten, but God's promises are different. They are given with care, waited for with patience, and fulfilled fully. And when they arrive, they do not shout. They feed. If this story was meaningful to you, we invite you to like and subscribe so you can continue walking with us through the Grandfather Gospel series. We're glad you're here. This has been Promises Kept from the Grandfather Gospel series by the Cardinal and the Dove.